tends, we see that it is becoming no more ideology of what journalism should be. It's become mean of personality, followership, and integrity to people rather than integrity to those holding office rather than
Okay.
integrity to those who they are being journalism, who they are doing the journalism for, which is the people. So
Okay, George. We hear you. We hear
yeah.
you.
Mhm.
Uh-huh. So um you're right. There are different types of journalism. A program called Head to Head does not pretend to be anything else. So anybody who has sense and doesn't have a track record or an ability to defend their governments robustly should avoid such programs. So I think that's the most important point you've made, is that there are different types of journalism. Can I just ask you, do you think that the current Nigerian media as it is should become much more aggressive?
That is the quickest way to get things done because the people who are the uh, leaders so far are also aggressive in trying to get power and the people. So this should also be a little bit more aggressive because then they can fear the people.
Okay.
One way to get them
Yeah.
to fear the people.
Thank you. Because, I mean, as I said, a program called Head to Head is obviously not going to be like your grandmother's tea party. So all this shock and horror that Daniel is expressing, Bwala, about being ambushed, what does he expect? It's called Head to Head, you moron.
Donna, okay, quick one, Donna. This one's for you though. So based
On the
on
other
the
hand,
fact that
on the
yeah
other hand, I don't
yeah
agree that Daniel lacks the capacity. A lot of people say, "Oh, Maggie is so much more intelligent than Daniel. That was the problem." I said that is
N-
not the problem.
no, no one said it lacks the capacity.
No, 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 no. A lot of people have said it to me privately. Is that the problem is when you put someone with a low IQ against someone with a high IQ. I said the problem is not an IQ problem. The problem is that it is very hard to lie when somebody is shining a torchlight in your face.
All right, okay. So what's up, Pastor
This is
Gary?
a good one. Imagine, imagine your lion. Somebody shines a torchlight in your face.
Yeah,
You become some guy.
that's,
I think Daniel was haunted by his
I mean, it's
past.
like me
Like I
now,
said,
comrades.
yes.
Comrades, I was just going to say that he's haunted by his past. It's like me now. Imagine if I now go and become Tinubu's spokesperson. All this abuse I've been heaping on Tinubu for the past 3 years will come back to
Uh-huh.
haunt me.
Exactly. Exactly. If you remember all the questions Mehdi asked, Mehdi did not even go into the security situation as it is today. It was all about what he has said, all about what he has said. So that was why I said in the first place, when Daniel was doing, in his days, when he was in what he was doing, you see, he could, if it was an expert or professional, he would definitely know that this thing one day is going to haunt him. Sure. You think bio at his age and experience can do what Wala is doing against the opposition? He cannot.
I don't know.
Anyway, no, he can't. He can't. So anyway, let's go.
okay.
Oh,
Um,
Wagner, your hand was up.
yeah, it's
Are you
Wagner.
Oh yes. Good evening, and appreciate you guys for setting up this conversation at the backdrop of that shambolic outing. I have a question, because there are really learned people in the journalism space. So I've got a question now. Um, from what we saw and how you know the guy interacted with Daniel and managed to get out all those facts, etc. do we think the Nigerian media, i.e., journalists, etc., is compromised? And if so, now to what degree do we think they are compromised? Thank you.
Don't you
I've
know?
already told you. I've already told you that they are compromised. They have school fees to pay. They work for us to pay them. Um, Not every media proprietor is bad, but a lot of them refuse to pay salaries at all for long periods of time, or they pay too little. So if some VIP comes and offers you a partnership, that means that you never criticize him, or that you keep your criticism of him to an absolute minimum. It's very difficult to reject such an offer when you have school fees to pay and a mother who needs medical treatment. A lot of Nigerian journalists are heavily compromised. But it's not just people who are in need in a humble way, like school fees or mother's medical bills. Some of them are just some of them are multi-billionaires. They have collected so much money from so many people for so many years. But not everybody is like that. So it's kind of, it's come sad. I don't know what you think,
So, um, well, let me have an opinion on that as well. Maybe Kunle and Wala might as well. Um, your question, I thought it was a trick question because yeah, I actually answered that before. But in the interview, there was a figure that was pushed out when the guy said 120 million Nigerians live in multidimensional poverty. So you'd have to factor a high level of journalists in that number as well. So if poverty is being recognized, so it's easy to compromise people who are going to tell the truth or who are going to ask you questions about the truth by just offering them very little. So the answer to that is absolutely true. That it is compromise. And I had a chat with David Conde a while ago, and he called it the golden handcuff, you know, and that stuck to my head, which is a situation where, they basically give you stipends and you say whatever they need you to say. So that's a problem we are facing. And this is kind of like a wake up call as well, because we can do better, but there's so many factors to consider. But your question is absolutely valid. I just wanted to chip in. So I don't know if Wala may have something else.
With, I think Chile.
Okay, let me come in here too a bit. You see, in as much as we want to agree that yes, what is happening, the like somebody said earlier, that the society we found ourselves today is actually responsible for some of this. But let us not forget also, a lot of people got the job to work with media stations or platforms not because they wanted to do the job, it's because of the Nigerian factor. So am I agreeing that look, the society sometimes either the poverty or the joblessness or lack of the country, bad governance, and whatever system we have in place is not helping in producing the right people for the right job. People have found themselves accepting to take the job, not that they're ready, but because that's where their passion is, or probably this is area where they wanted to develop their, career. Now, I think this is also fundamental to where we are today, to the issue we're talking about. Thank you.
Chile, let's circle back to you.
Can I say something?
Yeah, go on.
You see what I complain about the main media, of which I remember. Since this interview between Daniel and Meji burst onto the scene 3, 4 days ago, Abby,
Yeah.
has it been on the front page of any
Yeah.
Nigerian newspaper?
Uh-huh. Thank you.
Well, that's the golden handcuff effect I'm talking about.
I can't speak for all papers, but the few I've glanced at, I have not seen it. It is front page news, but it has not been front page on any of the papers I have looked.
I've seen Arise TV on YouTube.
I said newspaper.
you're almost never going to see it. And here's the reason. The reason is almost all governments. Okay, let me put it this way. Quite a number of Nigerian governments over the years, at least, let me say since 2009, 2010, that I got into the profession. I can say for sure that quite a number of Nigerian governments, and this is at all levels, actually actively find ways to limit their exposure in terms of criticism. Now, make of that what you wish. Make of that however they do it. I'm not going to be here to start describing it. But I have a very good example that I've stuck in my memory. I know a TV station, names withheld, that some years ago, some 15 or so years ago, was offered 250 million naira by a government. I'm not going to say whether it's the state or federal. Let's just leave it at that. And that money was offered to basically limit the level of criticism or bad stories that come their way. Allegedly, two stations who are still working today, mainstream media, allegedly collected just a little over that sum, 300, 400, I was told, or we were told at the time. This particular station, in a bid to hold on to the profession of what supposedly they are supposed to do, refused to take that money. That station does not exist today. Let me leave it at that.
It's the same thing. It's the same thing that happens with that newspaper. Next newspaper ran a series of exposés around the time when Dizani Anderson Madueke was Minister of Petroleum, and there were some irregularities they wanted to highlight. I was very much involved in the extreme pressure that was put on the owners to strike. They called up all the advertisers and told them that they will destroy their businesses if they continue to advertise in that application. There's nothing they do. I have been through this so many times myself. I have written articles that have been pulled at the last minute because somebody on the newspaper went to go and call the minister I was speaking about. The minister now flies in on a broomstick, harasses the proprietor, harasses the editor, and your article is ditched because it's this is not a democracy. That's just what I want you to know.
Okay, let me quickly remind people, if you want to speak, please raise your hands up just so we can have some decorum, please.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So, huh?
Yes, Soul.
Yeah.
I
No,
want
not
to.
you.
I
I
want to key
wasn't
into.
referring to you, but yeah, I'm just letting people know they need to speak. Please raise your hand up so we can get to you.
There was a guy
But
called
Yeah.
Wag. There was a guy called Wag who was trying
yeah,
to
it's
speak.
not. No, he did speak. He is the one who asked the question about the compromise. Right. Okay. Well,
Okay. I want to key into what Donna just said regarding the kind of pressure or she responded to what the other contributors just said. She agreed to what he said. Now, I remember, so today, there are prominent individuals within the media space in Nigeria that played a very vital role during my case when I exposed corruption in Hajj Commission. You might not believe this, that over 15, or let me say 20 something journalists from different media platforms were formed a group, were actually asked to ensure that I had a total blackout, meaning there was no way I could be granted any opportunities to speak on any of the media platforms. That is one.
Correct.
Secondly, whatever
Did
I
you
said,
say
they were. Sorry, no.
I'm agreeing with you. I said they do things like that.
Exactly. So again, it got to a point that right when we got into the courtroom, the story that was being reported outside was totally off what was going on in the courts. So these are journalists working with popular platforms we know today as those platforms we're proud of. Now, where is journalism here, if I may ask? Now, if media platforms that that claim to have platforms and proud of their reputation, yet they are bereft of ethical standards, where truth and accuracy is not there, there's no independence, there's no fairness. So tell me, the younger generations coming up, what do you think they're gonna practice? If truly we want to develop a democracy, we want this country to grow. I think it's frustrating anyway. Sorry. Next contributor, please.
Chinedu, your hand was up. It's a good time to circle back to you.
Okay,
We're gonna
someone
let you
called
finish
Dan.
first.
Someone called Dan who has
Yes, please. Good evening. Yeah, sorry. Can you hear me? Yes. Okay. Good evening.
Yeah, good Dan, welcome.
Thank you very much for the forum. Apparently, I got here through Foma, a friend of mine, and the story that Foma painted, the narrative he painted, we were both in the newsroom when that information. Well, I like the fact that we're talking about the wrath in the Nigerian media system. I was in the Nigerian media system, the local media system for a while up until I switched to international journalism. But the bigger challenge for me here is not the fact that we know there is a wrath in the system, and I dare say this will continue for another decade or so because it cannot be fixed. The generation that is supposed to fix that are gaining tutelage under those that created the problem. And the issue with Daniel Bwala would not have gotten to that level if we had journalists doing due diligence and checking everything every contributor has said in government one way or the other. But it is like that because we are all, we are all talking about it because there was nobody that actually checked any of these guys from the one. So it's a huge problem because I know how the media system play out locally now. I mean, gone are the days when brown envelope is handed in envelopes. Now it's being done in transfer. So I work with an international agency, and I know what I go through when I need to, speak to a prominent person, and we need to question them, and they are telling us, you cannot do this interview now because it will not favor the person. So it's a problem because, like I paint a simple analogy. I say the people that taught the millennials the concept of brown envelope, the majority of them are still, occupying juicy positions in the media space. Now, when they then leave the scene, those that they've handed over to will now transfer it to the next generation. Now, how do we now fix that? Because this thing we're talking about today, the next president might have another person that will still, embarrass the country and will still complain about the media still in the at large. So for me, I don't think beyond we talking about it, it's critical for us to look and find a way to see and ask ourselves, can this be fixed? And if it can be fixed, what can we do to ensure we fix it? Thank you.
Well, is that a question you're putting out, or just a statement in terms of how we can fix it? Okay. Wow.
Okay.
I think that was for you,
Let me
Donald,
take it up.
or Bwala.
Okay, it's done there. Let her take it up.
I don't think it can be fixed any more than you can fix the judiciary, the police, INEC, You know, when you're in a society that's deeply corrupt from beginning to end, from top to bottom, and from side to side, why would you expect one particular sector to be different from all the others? I mean, I personally think that journalists, judges, police have a sacred moral, ethical, legal, spiritual, almost duty to defend the Constitution, defend the citizenry, choose to power, protect. But the society has hit rock bottom so deeply that there is no sector that is safe. Even the students' union. I hear that students' union elections are as corrupt as national elections. I hear that association matters are riddled with corruption. So I'm a journalist. Let me speak for my own profession and say that I don't know why our home would be any different if everybody else is messing up. It shouldn't be. We should be different. We should stand above the fray. But Nigeria is a very corrupt country and the media is very corrupt. And by the way, to answer the dam who asked whether there's anything that can be done, me, I don't think anything can be done in our generation. Beyond, I think what will happen is that mainstream newspapers will just lose credibility, lose readership. They're already losing a lot of readers. If you've been around as long as I have, I can tell you that the advertising revenues have dived. So they're already struggling for survival financially. And the time will come when it will just be social media, actually, as far as I can see. So it may be that there's no need. What I'm trying to say is that reforming this very corrupt media may be overtaken by events, and that event could be the death of mainstream media.
I agree with you 100%. I was going to throw in social media as a, a rescue point, but you already laid that out flat, and that's the truth. That's what we can see. That's where we think it's going. Um, how they can corrupt that one now, that's another conversation. But thank you very much. Okay,
So
go on, comrade.
uh,
Yeah, why not?
yes, I think I could understand or reason with the frustration in Adonis' response, especially towards the end of our comment. Yeah, things can change. We the way she landed is more like saying, okay, this country also to fix this country, we must fold our hands and just wait, and things will be overtaken by events, and that event might be the end of this country. Because she actually agreed that yes, almost every patch, every area of struggles, women struggle in Nigeria, things are not just working, which we all agree. So, I think what it's about consciousness. If people like Dono can do better than what they're doing by establishing their own platform. Eh, Hello.
Go ahead. I think you had a call coming through.
Yes. So if individuals can really sit up and decide to take, we all have responsibility to fix this country. So the young man talking, the very person that asked this question also have a duty to ensure that you also see how you're going to contribute to these issues. Let's see how we're going to solve these problems. Our country is ours. We must either like it or not, we must take the bull by the horns to see how we can arrest some of this crisis that we're in, institutional crisis. I used to talk about uh, how political institutions or government institutions must be able to get back and serve the people. So if I am doing that from my own part, I think young journalists and the older ones must come together and create forums like this and see how we can overcome the challenges. That is my contribution. Thank you.
Okay, but before you go, well, before we go to the next one, there was something you said that probably like a 1 minute or 2 minutes opinion from you. Um, a couple of places ago, you mentioned how important it is with what Donald set up and what we are doing from a platform point of view. And then you hinted at the fact that social media, especially platforms like this, have actually come to rescue the dying kind of media we have now. what they call the media we have now anyway, those corporate ones.
Yeah.
And you can see that playing out now because majority of the conversations around what happened with Media and Bwala is it's had in platforms like this,
Mm.
not in mainstream media. So is it not a situation where it's really up to how we promote these platforms and create engagement activities for those platforms and push people into those platforms? Can that not be seen as an answer to this problem that this young man put forward to us?
Yeah.
No,
That's all
let's
the.
look at Nigeria. Sorry to interrupt. Let's look at there's nothing to stop us from turning this platform into a paid opportunity. Do you understand? That, yeah, if you can bribe mainstream media people, you can bribe social media platform owners. That's saying, oh, if you're ready for bribe taking, it doesn't matter where you're working. You could be working on a case at a ministry. You could be working on Donald's World. You can be, I'm just saying that social media is not immune to bribery and corruption either.
Yeah. Don't know, but do you realize what you've done with Donald Space? You aside Donald Space, what's the name? Opposition Unleashed. Have you ever
Yeah.
had that? Do you imagine somebody, a normal Nigerian, coming up with this at this point when you know what is happening to oppositions? So it's the vision in you that prompted this. So I believe the same crisis we're in
So
today.
that Kunle also might have.
Yeah, no, I mean collectively, yes.
Yeah, thank you for the flowers. You know, why not? We'll play it.
So it's just to stick to the ideology and also be very conscious of what society, what time is it? Let me put it that way in Nigeria, especially talking about how politicians are looking for people who are going to launder their image, who are going to defend them no matter what. Professionals, very good people like Bwala shouldn't in any way be caught doing what is wanting them to do. I've had reasons to jump into so many offers, but I said no. I'm not going to work for anybody, and I'm not going to sing praises to anybody. I'll rather continue where I am. I think it's far better. I understand. If you cannot resist that temptation, well, probably that little offer that looks glittering at a point, you think you don't know what you're doing to yourself. That is the truth.
To be honest with you, let me take this on its head. Okay, well, thank you very much for the compliment. I have tried all my life to have some small integrity. My father was like that. I got it from my parents, both of them. They bypassed so many opportunities to be super duper rich, to betray, to steal. There are so many, and I've inherited that ability. My sister was Secretary General of the or something to do with Mandela's release. So a certain amount of activism is in my DNA. But I'll tell you that even I'm tired. I'm in my 60s. And if somebody offers me a shiny white mansion overlooking the bay in San Francisco, I may just really tell all of you and just collect money and go.
Let's just do the one we are doing now.
Nigerian worth it. I've been doing this for years and years and years. Somehow I've managed to trade water, work in the system, work outside, but I've never sold out, right? And I've got nothing to show for it. Don't own any property here or abroad. What I'm just trying to say is that the people who stand up for what is right, being morally right is a reward in itself. However, I do ask myself, do Nigerians appreciate that sacrifice? Are they ready to stand behind those who stand up for them?
I think I'm the right person to answer this sincerely.
I'm not sure that they are. So, like I said,
No, don't answer the question. Don't answer the question yourself. You see, Nigerians appreciate to be honest, there are Nigerians that appreciate what you're doing. You see, I just said something about what you're doing with donor space. Is part of the Nigerians that are appreciating what you're doing. That is one. And you see, this act is just illustration of you creating a space and saying, call it with this name, and thriving along with some other patriotic minds to push it. You know, as little as this effort is, trust me, you don't know the number of Nigerians, younger Nigerians that you're inspiring. Okay? But when you ask that question, I wanted to say to you, a follow question that might serve as an answer is this: are you doing it for Nigerians or you're doing it for yourself? This is how I ask myself. Whenever I feel like giving up, I say to myself, I'm not doing it for anybody, I'm doing it for myself. I think this is the best way to console yourself and begin to continue to move on. Thank
I'm
you.
doing it for Nigerians, myself, everybody, my father, my late father, my late mother. I'm doing it for a whole raft of reasons, which I hope are the right reasons. But let me tell you that when I set up a group in River State last year to protest the state of emergency, the bullying of UK, the fraudulence of Tinubu, the outrage of bringing a military administrator to run River State for 6 months because two men were quarreling, two politicians were quarreling. Quite a few people joined me initially. Then they got tired. After we put out one or two letters or statements, most of them got tired and lost interest. Then Tim, the governor, we are fighting, threw us all under the bus. Then nobody was ready to get up and go on a protest march or do anything. And I've been trying to shut it down. I don't shut it down, it will come in and delete, blah, blah, blah. But the truth of the matter is that with a very experience, it led us nowhere. And my view is that Rivers people are a waste of time. Did you see Rivers people fighting to a standstill within their dignity and their sovereignty?
I think it's not just Rivers, it's all over.
Well, okay, let's do it. Let's segue back to this thing, if you guys don't mind.
Yeah.
I think Nigeria is worth it, but we'll come back to that in a bit. Mecca, you have your hands up because Arinze will go next to you because we're segueing back to Arinze. But Mecca, you haven't spoken yet, so the mic is yours first.
Good evening, everyone, and good evening to you in particular, Donu. I've been watching your Donu squad. I think I was among your first subscribers because whenever you, sorry,
I'm
Thank
saying
you.
I'm letting Donna know of her impact in case she
yeah,
forgets. But
I like
yeah,
that. I
yeah,
like
yeah.
those two.
Especially where because I noticed how when she talked about when she appeared on Arise TV prime time, and she kind of gave me a second look on what happened with cancer. Like I thought I knew Nigerian history when it comes to the 1990s at least, but I didn't know the other side of what happened in the Ogoni, and I give her that credit to enlighten me on that. And and some of the things that she discussed on Donald's World. I think I don't want her because she sounded like she might give up on. So I just want to encourage her because there aren't much female, especially like ladies in their 60s that are that are on TV or visible enough to discuss Nigerian politics and way forward. It's mostly, from my observation, a male-dominated area. So whenever we see or whenever she appears on TV and sound the way she does, it kind of if you check from the views, but that's how it was in the 2020s now. The views are usually higher when she appears. I mean, she can testify to that herself.
okay,
And
so I hope you're following her and following this program, right?
sure, sure,
Okay.
sure.
Please do let me share it as well. Thank you. All right, let's go.
Okay. All right. So then the other thing I want to talk about is you guys' topic here, and I see so one of the I don't know whether it's okay to mention names before I proceed.
It's
Of course it is.
opposition unleashed. We are not holding
Now, say
anything back.
anything you want, Mecca.
Anything you want to say,
Okay,
say it.
okay, okay. So on at the time, it looked like most of the Nigerian TV anchors are being gagged, or they are not asking questions that we discuss in their parlors or regular Nigerians discuss. And when a supposed culprit comes on TV, the question the person is being asked, we're like, what's going on here? Then appeared Rufai Husseini. And his pattern of questioning, certain Nigerians felt, I don't know whether it's because of our mindset, because of what we've consumed over the years, we now started seeing him like, oh, he's doing too much. One particular guest or certain type of guest will come and they will use statements like, you are being sensational. For me, that I also watch foreign channels, I don't think that is sensational. I think that is actually what I expect journalism to be about, to actually make the guest uncomfortable while accounting. But in Nigeria, Nigerian viewers agree, or a percentage of Nigerian viewers agree with those guests that will feel uncomfortable with Rufai's pattern of questioning and start calling him names and all that. So I don't know. I will just want you guys to touch a little bit on that. Then the last one I want to talk about is other younger. They're not so popular, but I maybe some of you guys might know them. Let me mention these guys. One of them works in channels. His name is Coyote Oku something. Okikolu, I can't pronounce his name. Then another guy that was his guest. So Coyote started a YouTube channel. That's aside from, because Shane on channels has his own on the mic with a YouTube podcast. So this Coyote, I watched when he had a guest named Nefemi somebody. The guy is an anchor on TVC. That's the guy that I think just to refresh. Sorry, I got it.
You're gonna have to wrap it up because
Yeah.
there's a lot of
No,
people
I'm wrapping
waiting
it up
to
now.
speak, yeah?
So
All right.
when the both of them were starting the sorry, a call is coming in. Sorry,
Why don't you just come back?
let me
Let's deal
just
with your
round up.
question.
They used the word that they said that they hope they are not going to be questioned by their HR. So a quick one: is it that most young journalists might want to do the needful, but the structure within where they work might be holding them back, because both of them they are young, they are probably like in their late 30s, not up to 15 years in their career, and they are particular about how their HR is going to view or see or assimilate what they are going to talk about. So these are journalists and people in the media that might want to do what is expected, but something is holding them back. Let me use here.
Okay. Donna, did you get that?
I did.
Yeah, the first one about Rufai and all that.
Well, I think that some people are naturally troubled. Just like Rufai myself, naturally fiery. There are also some other good journalists who are persistent in questioning DIP, but not in such a flashy or aggressive way, like my friend Laolu, who is on Channels TV. Laolu Akonde, I've seen him questioning people, and he pins them down quite a lot of the time. Maybe he's not aggressive enough, but even I am not aggressive enough. The younger ones, well, I think some of them would love to be able to stand up and their mind deal with issues in a tough way when they're interviewing ministers or whoever. But they're not allowed to. You don't own the media platform, you don't own the newspaper or the radio station. You want to get sacked, be going to go and ask cheeky questions to your boss's friend who is great. You understand? So You can't always do what you want when you're not the owner of the platform. And if you're just running your own personal podcast, you're not likely to get the type of guests of that level. You understand? Am I making myself
Yeah,
Yeah?
very much.
Yeah,
Very
Okay.
much.
yeah. There was
Okay.
another
So I
angle
also want to
to this
say
as well.
there's another
Go on.
factor that's people culture. In
Yeah.
Nigerian culture, especially Yoruba and Northern, you don't talk to your seniors anyhow. You know, you don't
Yeah.
just talk to your seniors anyhow. So when you have a culture where people literally say rank a day ballet, the people literally go down to their stomach. But there's special names for people who are older than you, even if they're only 2 or 3 years. It's quite difficult for people to break out of that mindset and be disrespectful towards a senior politician or a senior business person. Nigerians are
Yes.
you understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Uh-huh. So there's that aspect as well. It's culture. It's not in our culture to query your elders, answer them back.
Okay. KP, do you want to drive or?
Before we go to Peter, I think Chinedu, your hand was up. Trying to circle back.
Yeah.
Yeah, thank you very much. Let me just speak for the last time so the others can talk. Well, like I said earlier, I think it boils down to the system. I think somebody was making the point. Which sector are you going to actually fix? Let's say you just pick up the media section, the journalism section of the country or sector, and you decide to fix it. What happens to the police? What happens to the judiciary? What happens to every other sector in Nigeria? So what Bwala did is clearly a reflection of the environment he's coming from. Let's not forget who Bwala is and his trajectory. He came onto the scene during the Buhari years, was an APC member, defected to PDP, became Tinubu's one of the harshest critics of Bola Ahmed Tinubu, and then unsurprisingly went back to his vomit. You understand? So this is just who he is. And the questions that Mehdi Hassan asked him, they were not that tough, but against his backdrop, against his trajectory and the kind of person he is, he had to. And knowing the kind of person he is, I want to compare that with the interview that I don't know whether any of you watched it. Piers Morgan on Censored when he interviewed the foreign minister. I think it was Yusuf Tuga or something.
I saw
He
that
didn't
when the
perform
Canadian girl came up.
exactly. He didn't perform exceptionally well, but at least he was kind of refreshingly honest. He didn't try to model up the statistics. He confronted this. He owned up to the statistics that were reeled out to him in terms of the killings and everything, and pivoted to. But Bwala, being the kind of person he is, his kind of personality, he doesn't believe in. You can tell him something to his face. Hey, look at you saying this thing, and he always thinks he can talk his way around it and then come out because he kind of speaks very well. And it also goes down to the recruitment process in Nigeria. The loudest voice is always get the job. People that are willing to be sycophants, they always tend to get the jobs. It's not about the merit, it's not about what's it called, the stuff you're made of. It's about how well can you denigrate yourself to the pleasure of your boss. That was how he got the job. So it's an all-round problem. It's an all-round problem. I don't really blame the journalists. I know they have to sit up. When somebody has mouth to feed in his house, what do you expect them to do? They have to they have to just play along because that's what everybody is doing. So the country is well west below rock bottom. You understand? And I just hope that something has to be done. Probably drastic, probably gradual, but before then, we cannot. Maybe next topic will be another person that goes on international media and does what's done. Bwala. Thank you.
Thank you. It's a good time to look at the statistics that Mehdi Hassan used in that interview. He said in 2024, 8,700 Nigerians were killed. Then 2025, we went up to 11,000, 26%. So just 2 years of Tinubu, we've had what, just under 20,000 killed. And there's no war in Nigeria, supposedly. This is a low-grade war. So I think it's a good time to pivot to that. We want to chime in.
Well, it does. Before Peter goes, it does, and it's actually a wake up again. Tonu said it rightfully. It's a wake up call for the Nigerian media to anchor on these statistics. If you ask me. Well, I'll introduce Peter in a bit. Just for sake of Peter being Peter. So, Peter, welcome. I don't know if you know Donu. Donu, I don't know if you know Peter.
I have a cousin called P. Thompson. Is that you?
No, it's not.
I have a cousin called Gabriel P. Thompson. I'm telling you.
This is one and only Peter Nigeria. Well, let's Peter introduce himself. So Peter, anyhow, don't know. I'll give you a call later and talk to you about Peter. He's a very good friend and exceptional journalist as well. Fantastic journalist. But he decided to quit. I hope we can bring him back. So go for it, Peter. Welcome.
Yeah, good evening to good evening, Mama Dono. Though I used to be anonymous, but I think my identity has been compromised, so I'm no longer hiding. He that is down fears no fall. I've paid my dues in this country. I've paid my dues in this country. I've been to public prison for fighting for Nigerians. Mama Dono, I'm actually a Rivers son. I was the first person to raise alarm in this country concerning Wike suppressing SIM. Nobody knew about the story. I was the first to break that story, and I knew the backlash and the problems that followed. Well, an average Rivers man would throw you under the bus. But let's go to the topic of the day.
Please, can I
You
just
see,
say
not that we
before
don't
you
have
continue? I think it is a piece of news. Carry on.
yeah, yeah. So I actually was the first to raise alarm in Nigeria concerning SIM being intimidated as a governor by Wike, because Wike was almost asking for the reverse allocation to be opened for him to take directly. Immediately was appointed Minister of FCT. It was reverse money used in buying cars for traditional rulers in Abuja. So we are the first to place that news and we put it out, and pressure when SIM was being asked that for every kobo he has to spend must go through the approval of Wike. It was so annoying. We are the first to put out that pressure, but it couldn't do anything. Even when it ended up without any crisis in River State, state of emergency was finally approved in the state. Executive power. We SIM had the same power like Tinubu. I mean, equal constitutional powers, but unfortunately, he allowed himself to be used because I can bet with anything in my life that Wike being a governor, no president can declare state of emergency or push him out for 6 months. It's not possible. The state will go under than for Wike to just kick out for 6 months.
Correct.
But River State being the state that it is, the people always have something to negotiate for. They always have a price. Immediately the administrator came in, I raised the alarm that look, they will only agitate for a week, few days. The next thing, he will open check and start asking, what do you want? Start sending money and settling people. At the end of it, everyone will dance to his store and the man will reach himself exactly what he did. So that is, by the way. Let's go to the topic of today, which is about Daniel Bwala, a wake-up call for the Nigerian media. You see, know that we don't have journalists that can be as fierce as media stand. But let me tell you the truth. The reason I decided not to go to conventional media space is because these platforms are being owned by people that are close to the politicians. You must understand. and they are friends with politicians, especially the editors. Someone that is sponsoring the platform, because this is, to be honest with you, media houses are not really making money. Social media has really struck down the cash inflow to media houses. So now they need some of donations, support from their friends, colleagues, partners, and the rest. So everyone is being careful not to offend the person that's going to raise the next big check to them. So that is why whenever you see them, they appear on these media interviews, the journalists are always being careful because the editor does have to them. You don't go this line, you don't do this line. And you see, for the likes of us saying that we all are idolizing and we are hailing Professor that he's doing a wonderful job. Yes, Professor is the face of Arise. They take off Professor from that position. I'm telling you, Arise viewership will drop by 50%. Mark my word. And Oseni, despite what he's doing, if I tell you that Arise have been instructed to fire Oseni not once, not twice, not 3 times, not 10 times. I mean, from the presidency, they've given orders from the media regulators. Everybody has seen. I mean, even the owner of Arise is facing persecution today, not because probably committed any crime that is not negotiable or something. He's suffering today because they've consistently used Arise against the government today. That is why he's facing persecution today. The owner in the government is
I know these people. I work with them. My friends. Let me tell you something. They're very grateful because Arise is anti-government. This day is not.
Yeah. That is the balancing I'm telling you about. The balancing. They must not offend their friends because that's where their picture comes from, ma'am. That's where their picture comes from. They must not. They are not making money. People don't know that media are not making money. They depend on political money that comes from politicians. That's what they're surviving on. You understand? That's why if you see whenever they use Arise to attack, you still go to this day to balance it. You must understand it. And the same man owns Arise on this day. But Oseni is like the face of Arise. If they kick that guy off Arise, I mean their viewers will drop by 50%. Not that we don't have journalists that will take on politicians head to head. But we have the media regulators. The regulators will come heavy on the platform if they told a lie. That's the truth. That's the truth. So everyone is being careful. There are no jobs. There are no opportunities in this country. If you lose your job you're managing at the moment, that you fall back to. And you see Nigerians, if you for them and you need to watch your back, they will only watch it for a while. They will not look for the next person who is in replacing you. That's just it in Nigeria. I've been a victim. So when I'm saying what I'm saying, I know what I'm saying. As for Daniel Bwala, you cannot eat APC's money and pretend not to have eaten their money. That's one thing about them. You understand? So they lie barefaced lies. Unfortunately, if you go to Daniel Bwala's press statement, he said this interview was an ambush. He had 6 months conversation with Mehdi Hassan and his team. They never informed him that they're going to go back to his vomit, to uproot his vomit and put it in his face. Like things he has said in the past. That they never told him that. If they had, probably he wouldn't have honored this interview. You understand? So that is Nigeria. He was basically going to head with the Nigerian mindset where they openly lie and tell you to go to court. If that head to head was in Nigeria, I'm telling you, Daniel Bwala will say whatever he wants to say and he will tell you to go to court. And there's nothing will happen. There's nothing. I mean, nothing will happen. So it's just a typical Nigerian system. But unfortunately, it was on an international news platform where he was heavily disgraced and flogged. And that has really tainted the government. And I mean, from now till 2027, I don't think they will allow any of the government spokesperson to honor any international interview.
But
They would rather prefer to
Reno
go
is
with
there now. They might push Reno out. You never know.
no. Reno is
Reno
now
will
an
have the same
ambassador.
problem.
Reno is Reno is now an ambassador. Even Reno's this is a nonchalant attitude of posting and defending the government will reduce drastically. You will not see Reno posting anything about the government anymore. Because Reno is now the face of the government in a foreign land. He will not be playing partisan politics anymore. Mark you, just start watching what I just told you guys from now. He will not be doing all this open psychophancy he's doing anymore. See, if they appoint you as non-career ambassador and they send you outside the country, politically you are now becoming a nuisance. That's why they are sending you away. That's why if you look, real politicians don't accept non-career ambassador's position because it's a means of sending you away. When you are turned into a nuisance, you have no political value to them. They will send you out. That's how they appoint most of these people as non-career ambassadors. You understand?
Okay.
The likes of Shehu Sani, the former senator Shehu Sani, he was nominated as an ambassador, but he openly rejected it because he said he's still too young to be sent on political exile. You understand? Because if they appoint you as an ambassador and they send you out, that is political exile.
Can I ask
For
what
yes, ma'am.
we have colleagues in Mexico, we have colleagues in Germany, who's mainstream social media. What if those ones get wind of the fact of all the terrible things Reno and Kennedy have said or done? Okay? What happens? Do you understand? I'm confused. What if the Mexican, let's leave Femi aside for now. Reno has been, what if the Mexican media start publishing articles about, look at what this Nigerian ambassador said about the president he is representing? How is that going to work?
That is if we Nigerians trigger such internally.
Well, obviously, we are
obviously yes, put it in the face of the Mexicans to do it on our behalf. But just outside that, I mean, they will not just on their own go and start putting it out because of what economic value does Mexico have with Nigeria? You must ask yourself. How many Nigerians are currently in Mexico? Either doing business, studying.
Take it from me, Peter, they have some business.
Okay. So then that is where we Nigerians will come in. You understand? And let me tell you one thing, ma'am. Take the Ministry of Foreign Affairs. Almost all the Nigerian consulates in most of these Latin American countries, they are almost dead on arrival. I mean, like Nicaragua, Honduras, Costa Rica, it's almost not functional. The money goes to the ambassador to run the embassy. He just diverts everything to his pocket. It's always a quiet place to be enriching yourself as an ambassador because nothing is happening. Nothing is happening. If you are killed in that country as a Nigerian national, nobody will speak on your behalf. I'm telling you, most of these Latin American countries, that is actually what is happening. So Reno, what they appointed Reno for is like political settlement because politically now in Nigeria is of no value. If you're of value, they will appoint you, give you political position for you to stay in Nigeria so you can win the next election. But they know you don't have any political clout that you can even win one election. You will appoint you to be an ambassador.
Okay, so
where you not pay any political.
We understand what you're saying. So what is the conclusion? The Nigerian media needs a wake-up call. We've all come up with several reasons why Nigerian journalists are too timid or too corrupt or whatever. What is your final word on it?
Yes. The only thing, when I mean we have a very, very useless system in the country where media houses are being tagged by regulatory bodies. So you could see the hype we've just gotten from this Al Jazeera's interview with Bwala. So the only hope we have is to try and shine our light internationally. That is the only way. Look at every means we can have to go viral, get to the international media. That's only way we can get Nigeria at the corner of the public. You understand? Where people can talk about our issues. If we are waiting on doing it locally, I mean, it will never fly. That's just the truth. Because we are being gagged easily locally in this country. You know NBC. You know, ma'am, you know
Of
NBC.
course, the
You
broadcasting
understand?
company.
Even
I
the
live
space
around
we
the
are
corner
holding
from it.
today.
Yes, I'm
Yeah,
aware.
even the space we are holding today. If Twitter is being regulated right now, I mean, you as the host and the co-host will be summoned by NBC tomorrow because they have people listening. That's just the truth. That's just the truth. We know all this. So that is why locally we cannot do anything. We have a very bad system where people openly support people. I mean, openly support people. And finally, before I leave, ma'am, before I leave, you see, I will still touch back the obedient movement. Let me go back and touch the obedient movement a bit and Peter B's political ambition.
Why do you want to touch there now?
Yeah, I just want to touch briefly because I feel the movement is not living up to expectation, and two, the movement is losing people.
Are you sure this is not?
Ordinarily
Are you sure this is not for a different conversation?
okay.
Yeah,
No, I
yeah,
just want to
yeah.
I just want to touch it because
Let's leave it. Let's leave it.
the movement used to have a very strong group of media personalities, but today infighting, problems,
Well, you know we are solving
lies,
that
and
issue. You know we're working
okay.
on it, 100%.
Okay,
You know
so
that.
so let me leave you here. I'll still be here. Anybody that have any questions to ask
Okay.
freedom, I think for over a year, some people have not heard my voice. But this is your real freedom, the one and only freedom. I lost my big account.
Right.
I had almost 500,000 followers. This is just barely 17,000. I'm just coming back because I've paid my dues. If you want to ask any question, I'm here. At
You know,
least we will
just
still be
make sure
discussing. Why are we looking?
every Monday you find yourself here. That'll be great as well.
I will
Thank you.
try my best.
All right.
Why we are at it? Let me look for questions to ask Mama Don.
All right then.
At least that's my mommy from my state. Thank you very much. I'll still be
All right.
waiting. Okay, thank you.
No
What do you
problem.
mean, Mama Donald? I'm only 27.
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
I'm not,
Mama.
I'm not saying anything.
Uh,
I don't know how you guys want to do. You know, we normally push it for 2 hours, but if you want to go on, that's fine. I need to jump into a meeting. Ironically, an obedient meeting, so I have to go. So it would be good not
Well,
to leave out.
yeah, let's give
Yeah.
one or two more people the mic and then we can close.
All right. Cool.
Yes,
All right.
well, thank you so
I'll
much.
see you guys
Kunle, you
later.
take
Freedom,
over.
thank you. Comrade
All
Kunle,
right.
I'll talk to you guys later. Yeah, everyone. Have a good
Likewise,
time.
bro.
Yeah.
All right, bro.
Bye-bye.
Yeah.
Everybody's just joining us. And somebody called Mukhtar. We're just here for
There are
before.
like two people with their hands up.
I don't see anybody with their hand up. Whose hand is up?
Mecca and Wamgi or Wagmi.
Okay. The hands are not up here, but hey, Mecca, you first, then Wagner.
Okay. With all due respect to Pedo, his last submission, I don't think I agree with him totally on certain persons and the whole obedient society, which is not the conversation here. But I like what he's doing. I'm a big fan of his. So, but on the wake up call for Nigerian media persons, there's something that is going on in the US concerning the mainstream media and how something similar that we're experiencing here has been happening in the US, but with the or with social media, some media personalities are now switching to be the media themselves. For instance, Don Lennon, I don't know if you guys know him on CNN, and he had some issues with them, and he left, and now he has his own YouTube channel, and he's going okay, even though he's running into one issue or the other. And I
He
don't
got
know whether
arrested in Minnesota.
yes, yeah, he got arrested. That's him going overboard with what he's doing. But all, like they say in the media, bad news and all of them are news because it made him to be more popular, and he got more followers. So I don't know whether those whether it should these Nigerian journalists that are like the fellows on channels and TVC, the two guys that I mentioned earlier, and Rufai, if they can like quote this other guy, Tucker Carlson, he was on
You know
Fox
what,
News. He also had
we didn't ask the question or statement so that we can move on.
okay. No, the question is it is the time right for them to start making up their starting up their own investing more on it as private media people rather than holding on to their media platforms?
Well, they're doing that already. I mean, you've got people like me, you've got channels, quite a few people have their own YouTube channel now. And we will continue, we'll keep one foot in the mainstream media for as long as it exists, because that is our background, that is the anchor, that's what we're used to. But it is a disappointing platform.
Yeah, if let me come in here, Dun. In fact, I think I like this question because there's a reality here that we need to face. What is happening? Citizens journalism is taking over the conventional media platforms, and that is why individuals actually start from the conventional platforms, and by the time they create their own identity there, they move on to use the social media or the internet generally. Now, what that means is that the regulators of media, especially from the government side, are the ones that are not helping matters because these are older generations or old generations that are still living in the past, thinking, no, these things that are rules of the game, that everybody that is practicing journalism must stick to that rule, which is not necessary anymore. Because, like someone pointed out earlier, as long as the system is falling, the country is not working for the citizens, then it's compulsory that the citizens must raise their voices. And remember those days that something will happen, an attack will happen in one community. That story will not come to light until maybe after 24 hours or 48 hours. No, it's not working. I mean, that is not the trend today because of what we have. This is what we're doing today. As we are now, news break from my own spot here, the whole world will get to know. I think this is what it means we're living in the tech age. So I think it's better for those who think they have the power to control the media, to guide the media. They should know that time is running against them. Thank you.
All right. Talo, let's have meet your mic, please. Mukhtar Lawan,
Hello.
actually. Hello.
Yeah, good day, everyone. Hello.
Yeah, we can hear you.
Hello. Yeah, okay. Yes, so my question is that it's about the political role helping in changing the position after joining the government and how it was handled on air. Like Bwala's recent interview with Mehdi Hassan on Nigeria. I think that is a broader implication for Nigerian government PR on an international platform, especially regarding issue like insecurity. So does Bwala's interviews at Nigeria embrace national policy, or it just like mask the weakness of the government, the present government? This is my question.
Sorry, can you ask the
Hello.
question again?
Yes, I said the issue about
No,
the PR issue, broader implication for Nigerian government PR on an international platform, especially regarding issue like insecurity and economic hardship. Regard to the recent World interview with Al Jazeera.
did you get
You want to know the implications, right?
Yeah, the implication of his interview because of based on my consideration, just like he embarrassed
Okay.
Nigeria at large in the yeah.
He's actually asking if the interview Bwala had at Nigeria is if it has a wider implication on Nigeria. You understand? That is what he's trying to know. Yeah.
Well, to be honest with you, it's not one of many international issues that we have to endure. Look, Our country was bombed on Christmas Day. Every week, children are abducted.
Indeed.
Every week, bandits kill somebody.
Sorry.
There's never,
Sorry, bro.
Bwala was a spectacular. Bwala was a spectacular embarrassment, but I don't see any implication beyond the usual embarrassment that we are so used to. Does anybody disagree with me?
If we are in a civilized society where people's opinion will count, our votes will count, such international embarrassment will take away the government of the day from power in 2027.
Yeah,
Like,
but
if
this is
somewhere
not
like,
country. This is not a normal country. This is a normal
yeah,
country.
that people will vote massively against the government if we're in a country where rule of law.
People used to vote massively against the government in 2020, and they will even less of the vote in the election today. But we all know what happens. This is not a normal country. So the disgrace, the international disgrace is there for us to suffer. But domestically, I don't know, maybe they will sack Bwala. But I don't know. I think it will be business as usual because they have no shame.
Madam, you think anything is going to happen to Bwala? Why? In the first place, I wanted to ask this question. But I'm asking you, and I'm asking any other person like Peter. Why do you think three people, Bwala, Reno, and Fani Kayode, got close to the government? Why? What are their explanations?
I still don't understand those.
Yeah.
Okay,
So,
let me come in here. Reno Mokri is gone for hire. To be honest with you, the man that has no shame, all he's interested in is what he will eat. So if money, anybody is ready to pay him, is ready to work for you. As for Daniel Bwala was planted intentionally by the opposition. What has been a long time friend of Tinubu, not today. You understand? He had his own resentment. He was planted in Atiku's camp, just like what is happening right now in ADC, which they need to work on. You understand?
Yeah.
He was planted. He was planted. So whatever he comes with was part of the rhetoric that was initially agreed upon. You understand? And
no, I don't think calling Tinubu a drug dealer was agreed.
No, see, I mean, at some point in time, there was an overshoot. There was an overshoot where he said things outside of the initial things that he needed to say. That was an overshoot, you understand? But you have to understand, work to justify that, yes, we really planted you there without any traces, you understand? There was an overshoot. At some point in time,
Peter,
they had some.
Peter, who planted Bwala in where?
Bwala was planted in the opposition, the PDP, by Tinubu's government. Bwala used to be a staunch PDP member, very close to Tinubu, and he was planted. You understand? That was why even when he only said one word when he was in camp, he said he's returning home. Go and listen to when he was in camp. He said he was only returning home.
Yes. That's what he statement, yeah. If I can call.
He's returning home. Now, you understand?
No, I don't agree. I don't agree because let me say this. A lot of us, we Nigerians, we speculate too much and we have this conspiracy theories all over the place where, let me tell you, political parties are not doing well in Nigeria. That's the truth. And especially the opposition. Whenever you think opposition is planting somebody, I doubt, because you know why? Because sincerely speaking, most of the people that hang around politicians don't have even their salaries. They are there living like beggars, following this one, following these politicians, waiting to see who's arriving in the house and who's opening the car door. I'm telling you this because I know exactly what is happening. So, my brother, I understand what you're trying to say. Probably, you might say probably if he was planted, but not with all assurance that he was planted there. It was later on when Tinubu discovered that this guy who was with you was fighting. You know, it's good to always fight the master you serve because you know his bedroom, You know the color of his machine. You know when he's happy, when he's not happy. Then you have whatever armories to fight, and that is why they now decide to bring him back home. It's not like he was there for a special assignment.
Yes, I
Well, this
understand.
is my own opinion as well.
Yeah,
Hello,
this is
good
a very
evening.
good fact.
Okay.
Mm.
Hello, good evening. My
Yeah.
name is Nana. Thank you. And somebody asked what their credentials were to be
Yeah.
absorbed into the government. Just be dishonest. That's all. They didn't need any credentials. They just needed honest, thieving young men, and that's just it. And also, when you look at it, I paraphrase a little bit. Just say enemy, and he'll be more loyal than a friend because that enemy
Yeah.
has more to prove to you. You know, if you are someone who read the 48 laws of power, it's not cast in stone. So basically, that's how I see it. Tinubu hired his former enemies. Somebody also,
Yeah.
the last speaker before me, literally just said that you know, when somebody has worked with you, he knows your bedroom, knows the bed sheet, knows where all the doors are. If the person was a friend turned enemy, why not bring the person back? The person has. So they're just trying to prove. Basically, what I'm trying to say is that they're singing for their supper.
Yeah.
That's
That
it.
is it.
Mess
Yeah.
you out and then open the doors to you. It's simple. Thank you very
Yeah.
much. Good evening.
You're welcome. And
Nana,
Yeah, and in addition to that,
yeah.
sorry, Peter. In addition to that, let's not let's not forget that this government came in. In fact, they were desperate buying for to be accepted. It wasn't a popular government when it first came into power. So
Yeah.
the
That is it.
duty that Tinubu had was to see who and who are willing to. So the passion was so much from these individuals. These individuals were ready to take the government down. And that was when the best way to handle them is to bring them in. Quiet. You'd never get to hear about that kind of passion anymore. I think that was just to add to what she said. Thank you.
You're welcome.
all right. 9. Let's hear from you. I haven't said anything.
Okay. Good evening, everybody. I just came in now, though I put my notification on. Just now. Good evening, everybody. Speaking about the media, like one interview I just watched